Cool. So thanks for making the time today, guys. I really appreciate it.
Oh
Uh,
yeah, of
you
course.
know,
We
it's
love you guys.
yeah, but it's the end of Fantastic Fest for me. I'm flying out tomorrow. So like all pretense is gone. I'm just gonna tell you I fucking loved your short
Thank you.
so much. I was telling Sam Zimmerman this is the best one since like the best VHS since '94.
Mhm.
And I've liked various installments since then, but like
Yeah.
the last one of all VHS movies, the last segment has to go really hard, and
Mhm.
yours does. And did you guys know you were going to be last when you signed up for
No,
No,
no, we
but
didn't.
we didn't know. We were told that it was unanimous. So,
Yeah.
like as soon as they got all the cuts in, they were like, it can't go anywhere but last because they thought it was they called it kind of the grand finale, which is obviously hugely complimentary.
Yeah.
You want to close an anthology and be the whatever you may be the last thing people remember the installment from. So it was a huge honor.
Yeah. Does Justin Martinez close Beyond?
No.
That's so cool.
Kate Siegel does.
Can't,
Okay.
yeah, but she's a big draw. Might
Oh
play a
yeah,
good script.
absolutely. And
And
hers is
great
great.
segment too.
I
We're,
love
we're
her
big fans
segment.
of Beyond as well. So,
Oh,
Yeah.
we had a lot of really big shoes to fill.
we did. We were really all really nervous because that one's a pretty like well liked installment, and I'm so impressed with all the other directors and filmmakers and writers that worked on this one. I think everybody brought something really unique and cool to the
Yeah.
table for this installment.
Definitely. I mean, I remember, I don't think you were in my theater, but without ruining anything, the last shot, people went nuts. But then when it cut away, people were like, oh, like everyone
Uh,
wanted to see what happened next. And I'm
yeah,
like,
they needed us to have more money.
I mean,
yeah, no, no,
look,
no. I know your
for
budget
time.
doesn't want to. Yeah.
Trust me, if anyone's wild enough to get in a sandbox with us and give us money to make a full feature and go bananas and trust us to do what we want, we'll make some fucking crazy Halloween movie for somebody.
What's your Venmo? Is it? You'll tell me later.
Yeah.
But so maybe an obvious question, but like, did you guys? I assume you're Halloween people. My
Oh
wife and
yeah.
I, we have the Halloween mat, like doormat year round. My mom doesn't understand it, but we do.
I
Uh,
have a permanent witch in the front of our house from the 1960s. And
Ooh.
we have skulls that are made of cement that are like landscapes. And then I have ceramic pumpkins that sit out in front of our house. Our house, all the kids and all the neighbors call us the Halloween house. We're
nice.
also the only house in our neighborhood that goes all out. Like we spend days decorating. So
Mm.
like this was very much in line of like our interests, our passions, like as children growing up, like Halloween to me was like the most important day. It was bigger than Christmas. Like that was my holiday since I was very little. And I used to wear my Halloween costumes when it wasn't Halloween around the house. I would wear them to school and get in trouble. Let me tell you, it's not great to go into a Christian Baptist school dressed as Satan when you're like in elementary school. You will get kicked out. And that did happen.
Wow. Worth it though, I would assume down
Totally.
the line. Yeah.
And the house is haunted. That's a big part there too.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, and we also live in a haunted house, which is crazy. It's over 100 years old. Several people have died there, and the original owner's funeral was in our living room.
Mhm.
And we were having all this activity happen around 2:15 a.m. for the first 2 weeks we were there, and it got so bad that the sheriffs came. And it looked like someone was walking through our house the way it was setting off the alarm. And we went back and looked at the video with the sheriffs there. It looked like a fog or mist was moving through our house, and they did a full walkthrough, like guns, everything. And they said, like, the main guy was like, I don't want to embarrass myself by saying this, but your house scares the shit out of me. And I swear to God, this place is haunted.
Yeah, we're just gonna sneak by the executioner. Just let him sleep so he
Yeah,
doesn't.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. We don't want him. What
Yeah.
was your favorite monster in ours?
Yeah. What was your favorite monster?
I mean, look, it's easy to say the witch, and the witch is great, but
Yeah.
man, when those things come out of the coffin, I was because at that point it's a full-on fucking ride. Like you've
Right.
actually
Yeah.
simulated like a haunted house ride. And in my mind, like I know those are actors, but just the way it happened, and I just wrote down in my notes Bumblebee three exclamation point. Like, yeah, but
Well, Bumblebee Boy got it bad.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I was having lunch with Sarah Nicklin and Sean Decker and my editor the other day, and she was telling me about it a little bit, and I was telling her like I couldn't really tell the difference between what was CGI and what was practical, except for like things that you obviously know are CGI, but like my eye is just like in it and just like wandering
Yeah,
around.
it's all shot practical. So all
But
the
even the
ghosts
ghosts
are
that
all
fly,
puppets.
those are all
Yeah.
puppets.
Rod puppets shot on
Oh,
a
rod puppets,
yeah,
really?
they're all rod puppets, puppeteered, and then shot on a blue screen and then composited in. The big giant ghost that eats Rick and like vomits blood, that was all practical, shot on in the moment, like there on the stage.
It had some CG enhancement on it, but
Yeah,
it's an
it's all
actual
real.
physical because we had to have it move or whatever. Because if there's not undulation and stuff, it looked like a Party City prop because it's
Yeah,
literally just a
it's
sheet
like
ghost.
it just stand there and like shoot out blood, so it like undulates. The undulation was an additive for CGI, but that was it.
But we'd never seen someone do like a classic. Like our goal was when we were like kind of like we were blocking out which monsters we wanted to
Yeah.
use because we know we wanted it to feel like a roller coaster ride. Like we wanted to kind of like resemble what it's like to actually be in a haunt maze, and it's constant propulsion. It's constant moving forward. It doesn't really slow until you're out and you finally get a breathing room, and
Mhm.
that's where we have like the kind of the twist at the end. But we wanted to really capture all of the classic Americana home haunt monsters, and if you like grew up in the 80s and 90s, whenever you went to one of these home haunts, there was always a torture chamber, always. And there was an electric chair with a guy in it, and there was an executioner.
You could even say like 60s. Like
Yeah,
this has
60s
been
too.
like a long time of like themes between the ghosts, and then there weren't zombies way back in the day. It was like
Mhm.
ghouls. So that was something we were really adamant about. We wanted ghouls because we never feel like we see them now in the contemporary setting. And since this was a period segment, we really wanted to do like those kind of classic like themes. And also like there's never been a green Halloween witch in anything besides,
Yeah. I'm
Wicked
like,
and Wizard of Oz.
well, I'm like, is that like a legal thing? Like,
No, not at
It's just like,
all.
look, witches have talked a big game in media about eating kids, but they never actually do it.
Yeah.
So we were just like,
Like we're gonna have her eat fucking kids. Like the mummy boy, she's eating his guts. And that's why like she fumbles and that falls is because she's so busy eating his insides that she slips up and like, drops it.
we wanted her to be a cannibal green Halloween witch because
Yeah.
yeah, and you once again nailed it. I don't want to ruin too much, but like the ballerina made me like laugh out loud, or fairy ballerina, I forget, but you know what I'm talking about. But
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
ballerina
yeah,
girl. That was kind of mean.
She was so excited though. Like
yeah.
we made
spoil
extra
that.
stuff for her. Didn't eat that herself.
Yeah.
Nice.
She asked to.
Yeah.
She's a really cool kid. Her name's Haley,
Mhm.
and she was really fun to work with and very very professional and just like really
Kids
hardworking.
kids love dying.
They
Kids
do.
love dying. They love it when you rip them to pieces.
Well,
They
fun kids,
fun kids,
but and
yeah.
it's always the girls. Every time we've done anything, the little girls get so excited about the monsters, the blood, the makeup. They're like they love it, and I'm just like I feel like people don't understand. Like we got so many more little Wednesdays Adams out there in that world than
Yeah.
people think, and the little girls are down for the monsters and the weird stuff like way more than they think. And I think they're underestimating how cool and weird girls are. Speaking as a weird girl, like, and Haley is like this cute little blonde girl you would think has Barbies, and she was like having a blast.
Yeah, she actually cried when she had to leave set because she was having so much fun.
Oh my
Yeah,
It's
God.
like even though this is like the VHS fuck them kids edition,
it is.
all the
It
kids.
really is.
Yeah, I know.
Fuck them kids.
We
I
were
wish that was the tagline on the new poster that just dropped. Is like VHS Halloween. Fuck them kids.
Yeah.
October 3rd.
Yeah. Yeah, no, my wife is a spooky girl too. Her ceiling is usually Tim Burton and Guillermo del Toro, but like
okay.
The Thing and Texas Chainsaw Massacre are like some of her favorite films of all time. Those are like comfort watches in our
Yeah,
house.
those are good choices.
Yeah. So I want to talk about like directing actors because even with all like the shenanigans happening and all the effects, you're still telling like a story about a father trying to reconnect with his son. And
Thank you.
I was talking to it's like actually kind of touching. And I was talking to Sarah about it. And I love how like she's so great in it because she could just be like the oh honey, like so big and broad, but like with a look, she'll be like Uh-huh. Okay. But
Yeah.
how do you sort of maintain the through line of all that when you're like chopping people up?
That was actually, it's a funny thing. That was the biggest challenge, especially because you don't have runtime. And when we turned in the script, we were very nervous that they were going to try to cut most of the story because traditionally VHS films are kind of like you establish a couple people, then just they start all dying
Hmm.
hideous or horrifically within the first 5 minutes. And we're like, no, we really want to like do something that VHS hasn't done before, like this kind of like Amblin style family, situation with a Clark Griswold like dad who's overbearing but doesn't necessarily mean bad, and the son who's been paying a social price for his father's, obsession. And we really wanted to do that. So maintaining the through line is hard when everything's going to hell. And how we did that was we really wanted the actors to have physical chemistry and for them to be protecting each other and to kind of like as a family trying to like overcome all of this stuff. And there's some subtle things that people probably we'll have to pick up when we're watching it, but there's a point when the dad is really doing what he can to save everybody. Sarah's obviously better. She's our monster slayer.
We
But
really wanted to lean in on like the mother bear aspect of moms, because I think people really underestimate the power of a mother when children, either her own or others, are in danger. And
Hmm.
I thought that was very believable for her to step up to the plate and really become like a badass.
and there's a shift
Uh,
where Zach starts calling his dad instead of Keith.
Yeah.
And so we like tried to find little things that we could do that were like small flourishes to give it a little bit more, character progression as they're going through. Because really at that point, it's all about people getting.
I don't know if anyone even noticed it because they're paying attention to all the other crazy shit happening, but like there are subtleties to the characters kind of developing and getting closer and doing things that I think shifts from where the story began.
Yeah, but we hope that our characters are memorable. We hope that people really like the core family and Rick Baker, obviously, like you did an amazing job.
How did you like Rick in this?
I that was wait, that was Rick Baker?
Yeah, with the ponytail and the white hair. That's
Oh my God, I did not clock that at all. But
mm-hmm.
no, I have to rewatch it now. Well, I'm gonna have it on my shelf in whatever form it's out
Okay.
for.
Oh yeah.
Like, no, that's hilarious. No, Rick Baker just critiquing everything. I'm sure that
Yeah.
wasn't a
Talking
fan
shit
one.
and
Yeah,
like, oh, this
yeah.
guy thinks he can do a home hunt and goes to the store and buys decorations.
Yeah.
Calls himself Mr. Halloween. I love when he's like, what the fuck is this, Keith? It looks like a miniature golf course.
Most of Rick's lines were improvised too.
Yeah. And we would
Like
kind of
we were just kind of like, Rick, just talk
banter
shit.
with him, and
Just this guy is a hack. You don't like his work. You're Rick Baker. Just talk shit to him.
he would take what we would give him that's in the script and then like give us a different version each time and kind of play with it more. And I'm like, get meaner, Rick. Like you really don't like this guy. Like channel a personal situation or a moment where you really wish you could say something that you didn't say to someone.
Yeah, that was
And that was all he needed.
Just imagine you're seeing 80s CGI for the first time and what's that doing to you. Yeah, God, the ponytail really should have been a dead giveaway, but
We
that
actually
that was in the teaser trailer. Like I think it was
some people clocked it, but
someone, it was a Bloody Disgusting or Dread. Someone clocked it and they're like, if anyone saw that white ponytail.
that ponytail, it's really hard to see, but it's there. It makes a another appearance, and what
You got
happens
the freeze
when you're in it,
frame.
but it's like, we recycled his ponytail later for the scene that you're probably thinking of, but you have to like pay attention to it. It's funny.
nice. One last thing for you guys. I'm sort of fascinated with found footage and anthologies because of the limitations that are placed on filmmakers. And you do something that I love, and I wish most, if not all, found footage movies would do it. You have and I don't want to ruin it, but you have an explanation for why the camera is still rolling. And it's the
Yeah.
only time I've ever heard that where I went, "Aw," in like any one of these. And
Yeah.
can you talk about like it might seem like a blip of a scene in the grand scheme of things, but like it's kind of central to the whole thing. Can you talk about that scene at all?
Yeah, that was just the moment where they're all you needed like one quiet beat in the middle of it. We wanted to keep the propulsion going, but they really had to like reckon with the fact that all of this is going on. The dad's kind of responsible for this, even if it's not intentional, and they're all kind of coming to terms with that. And one of the things we did really struggle with like you said, most found footage movies, they don't really explain why the camera creeps rolling, and we really wanted to do that, and that's because they don't think they're going to make it out. They think this is it for them, and if they're gonna exit. You know, we make a joke. It's like Home Haunt 2 is literally just an hour-long meeting with Keith's insurance adjuster. You know, that's what it is. And so, you know,
His home owner's insurance is definitely getting
it's
canceled after
yeah, it's
this.
getting
Oh
canceled. So,
yeah. No,
so
the
it's kind of
HOA
like
is gonna want blood. Yeah, for sure.
yeah, yeah. But yeah, we did want to put that in there. We did want to give them a solid motivation for continuing film. There's some other stuff we did too, because I don't know if you noticed, but feels a little more, it never cheats. It's always first person perspective. And the way we designed it was if the camera cuts, it's because they've turned it off. So he's editing in camera. So we don't ever
Paused it.
because one of the questions about fine footage I always have is not so much why are they still filming? You can explain that away. It's like, who the hell is editing this afterwards? Who's getting all this footage?
Mhm.
So for us, it was kind of like, no, let's make it so that whenever the camera cuts, it's totally plausible that they just press stop and record and just picked up again. So that if you picked up that camera and if you watched on the monitor of it, the camcorder, you would see the whole thing play out just like it did. And we also had a little Easter egg in there too, because people were like, one of the concerns was like, well, your camera work is like good. And it's normally it's, you know, looking at crown molding for like 3 seconds before there's a jump scare with found footage. And we wanted it to be very clear to be able to see the action. We've heard that critique of past found footage movies that sometimes the action can be so unclear that it's not fun to watch. So we actually, I don't know if you noticed, when they're in the a thrift store,
A vintage store.
it shows that Noah's an aspiring, Zach, the character's, the son is an aspiring cinematographer. He's playing with cameras and stuff like that. So it explains why he's good at filming this stuff.
And why his footage looks better than his dad's.
Yeah, why his footage looks better. We actually took different approaches to Zach filming and his dad filming because you know there's a camera handoff. In the first part of the movie, Zach's in front of the camera. In the second part, Keith is, and we wanted to make sure there was a different camera language depending upon who was using the camera.
Gotcha. As someone who made movies on DV tapes when I was in high school, like you always appreciate when someone stops at just the right time. But yeah. Yeah.
Panasonic DVX.
Yeah, well, yeah, DVX, that's true. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's a little boop, 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 boop. It's like, and now like I'm seeing that show up in Shelby Oaks again. I'm like, what's with the DV resurgence? It's very strange.
Yeah.
It's cool. Yeah, but that's about all I got for you guys. But you have a standing invitation to talk to us like at any time. It's always a joy.
Oh
So
no, we love it.
Thank you.
Love you guys.
Thank you guys for
are great.
having
So
us.
thank you for having us.
And I'm glad you liked it. And I hope other people like it and they rewatch it. And have a good time this Halloween season.
yeah, definitely. And thanks again, Aaron. I appreciate it. I'll let you know.
Thank you, Lowell.
Cool. And I'll probably see you around today.
Oh yeah.
We'll see you, Lowell.
We'll see you later. Bye.
Hello, fiends, friends, and familiars. This is Matt Orozco here from Macabre Daily, and I am joined once again by the lovely and amazing Sarah Nicklin, who stars in the upcoming VHS Halloween segment Home Haunt, which already has 100% Rotten Tomatoes scores. So, Sarah, first, congrats, and thank you for spending some time with me again.
Of course, I'm super happy to be here. I always love chatting with you.
I know. I was lucky enough to get to spend some time with you and Sean over in Austin at Fantastic Fest and just be in the crowd watching the new VHS segment, which has led me to believe that every VHS movie should be released theatrically, because they're just such great crowd pleaser movies.
Totally. I totally agree with that. I mean, I understand why they don't, because they want people to sign up for Shudder to see them. Business wise, makes sense. But even after watching it, so we watched it at Fantastic Fest at the premiere, and then at Beyond Fest in the LA premiere, and the crowd for the Beyond Fest was even better. It was a bigger theater. There were more people there in one theater that had worked on it and just real big horror fans. And so the audience reactions were just fantastic. There was so much laughing and like, oh my God, like just really fun a movie to watch with a big group of people.
I mean, watching movies like this in festivals feels like you're getting a better than experience because you're already around people who are into this as a default, and then they're reacting to the things they see on the screen. But I'm curious to know, like, what was it like watching your segment on that massive screen for Beyond Fest? Because like the Alamo's got a nice size screen, but like the one they use for Beyond Fest is massive. The theater's bigger. So like, how did that feel just seeing all of that projected on such a massive screen in LA?
It was so cool. No, I mean, it's really like it's really definitely not lost on me like how what a big deal this is and like how amazing it is to be part of this franchise that is so beloved by horror fans, to get to see it played on such a big screen when so much nowadays is just only on digital or only on streaming. So it's like that's kind of why we get into making movies, is to
Totally.
have that experience, and we really got to do it with this one.
Well, you've worked so hard, and I think it's just like time, it's like you've put in the work, you've reached a point where like now you've had so many. I mean, we talked earlier this year, like you had a slate of movies that were about to come out, and now many of them have.
Yeah.
And when we think about the home hunt segment, like I know, you were friendly with RH and Micheline before this, but how did this whole idea come about in regards to like getting involved with home hunt, the VHS series as a whole?
So that it was completely just all props given to Micheline and RH for that, because they're the ones that got chosen to be directors for that, and I've been friends with them for a long time and fans of their work for a long time, and they're incredibly talented. They
Yeah.
have a short film Grummy from a couple of
Yes.
years ago that's amazing. And so I've really wanted to work with them for a while. And so when they got the opportunity to do VHS Halloween, and the segment that they wanted to do had a mom character that I could fit, and they said, Sarah, would you be interested in doing this? And I was like, hell yes, I would be interested in doing this. And so it's really just kudos to them to even at that point, telling the casting director that I was the one that they wanted for that, which is, such a testament to who they are as people, being loyal and actually doing the things that they say they're going to do. Because a lot of times that doesn't happen. A lot of people
Right.
like to talk, or they don't have as much control as they think they're going to. And especially, I mean, that even goes to show you like the how much the producers of VHS trust the directors they pick too. That Art and Micheline were able to say, we want her for this role, and they didn't give any pushback on it, which is also really, really cool. So it's just a really great group of people to work with.
Well, you were pitch perfect in this role. Like, I'm curious to know, like, did you draw on any kind of memories or specific inspirations? Because you are such like the perfect homemaker, like, oh, my husband, kind of like, just
Like,
he's up to his old tricks again, but it's like it never feels like too saccharine. It just feels so organic and natural. So, kind of, what were you drawing from to really craft that mom character?
so Micheline had said that she wanted her to be like the mom from Gremlins. So that was like
That's
the
perfect.
main that was like the main thing that I was like, okay, got it. I can do that. And so I've been in a long-term relationship and we have a fantastic relationship, but sometimes there are things like my husband's really into cars and I'm like, okay, that's nice for you. So it's kind of a little bit of like that.
Yeah.
But towards in the movie, towards my husband who's really into Halloween. But I also feel like, Nancy, she makes all the costumes and she does helps doing like the makeup. And so she's part of it too. So like
Yeah.
even though she's not as invested as Keith is, she's still there to like help make it happen and has fun with it every year.
I mean, I think it's just it felt so natural to see you working across your co-star as like I forget his name off the top of my head.
Jeff Harms.
Jeff's Harms. Like you two just have such great chemistry, and it's funny that you're almost kind of like, well, I'm not really acting all that much. It's just kind of to take what I deal with my husband and then just put it in a different context. So now, one of the things I spoke with Pal Robinson yesterday, who's the DP on the Coochie Coochie Coo segment. And one of the things he told me was I asked him, like, what are the most challenging parts of filming this segment? He's like, honestly, we had so much fun that, like, none of it felt challenging. And I feel like really good horror movies, not all the times, but like most of the times, have really kind of good chemistries on set. So, what was it like? Was it as fun to make this as it was to watch as it is to watch Home Hunt?
I think so. I mean, I had a blast. I know that it was also there was also just some pressure because it was so ambitious, and it was shot in 5 days, and I mean, there's
5 days?
5 days, 5 days.
Oh my God.
So with different periods being 70s and the 80s, and then all of the fantastical like whimsical sets that were built that were literally like built and then they were torn down that night, and then and then a new set had to be built within a day like on that same stage. So there was
Wow.
a lot going on. um for mostly for people behind the scenes, like in the production department, so very stressful for them in order to make those deadlines. But then once we were there on set and actually going through it, so fun, super fun. I mean, getting to work with RH and Micheline, who are just wonderful collaborators. And then like you mentioned, Jeff, my co-star, he is such a lovely spirit, like this just like childlike curiosity. He was like, yeah, let's try this, let's try that. He's just
Just like his character.
yeah, exactly. He's just down to play, like down to play as an actor, which is really, really cool. So I had absolutely the best time on this set.
Well, there's also a really fun cameo from a Mr. Rick Baker in here, and it's so funny because he's ribbing Jeff so hard on his decorations, and I think that like brings so much levity to this. But
Mhm.
how do you know how the kind of Rick Baker connection happened?
Yes. So Micheline had modeled for Rick Baker a couple years ago when he did some makeup with her as the bride, which is gorgeous photos if you've ever seen them. And so they became friends. And being friends with Rick, he does his own home haunt every year over here in Toluca Lake. And
Wow.
obviously, it is next level off the hook because he's such an incredible makeup artist. And RH and Micheline go to that every year. And so they were kind of inspired by his home haunts being there, being like, what if Rick just accidentally killed the whole neighborhood? So since he was kind of the inspiration for the story, they were then like, well, we have to put him in it. Because it's kind
Yeah.
of very loosely, based on what he does with his home haunts. So, and since they already had that long-standing relationship, he said yes to being in it, and I think he was great. He could totally have another career as an actor. Like he steals the show. He's so funny.
I mean, everyone's so good and like everyone's so on point in this whole thing. And because it has such a propulsion to it, like once the actual home haunt begins, you have this nice kind of lead up, I think it's maybe like 5 or 8 minutes, something like that, of kind of setting the scene. And then once we get to the home haunt, it's just nonstop. And it's such like when you think about the process of going through that, like I asked, the coochie coochie coo. I can't say that without like smiling. Uh, that coochie coo segment is like there's so much that has to happen in a certain way because it's found footage, because it's
Mhm.
supposed to have this element of like realism and kind of real time. So, what was it like for you as kind of on the acting side, like working in that environment where you have to constantly kind of make sure that there's a continuity and a seamlessness to this because it is supposed to be found footage and you're making that illusion of real time viewing?
Yeah, I mean, I think we definitely tried to spend a lot of attention focusing on like continuity of, placement and everything so that it would actually line up. And so even the like hidden cuts, would
Yeah,
actually work. But because it is found footage, a lot of and it's pretty much one continuous take for like a lot of the sequences in the different rooms. We had to shoot different versions of each of those
mm,
sequences. Specifically, there was when we get into the hallway after the crypt, there were three different versions of that we shot. Because in the script it was the long version, and then RH was not sure that this would work like pacing wise. Did it really make sense for them to stop and take so much of a break with everything that was happening? And normally you could make that decision when you're editing it and just
sure.
make the scene shorter if you wanted to. But because it's found footage and there's not really supposed to be any cuts in there, we had to shoot three different length versions of that scene so that he could then decide which one he wanted to use pacing wise in the final edit. So that was definitely interesting and something that was, a little different in working in found footage. I also kind of feel like found when you working in found footage is like almost more like doing a play
Yeah.
than doing a film, because you're paying almost, at least for me, because I was never holding the camera, I was paying less attention to the camera and to where it was because it's moving all the time. And obviously they had decided, okay, we're going to try to, catch this, go here. But because it's all handheld and there's that constant like frenetic aspect to it, you never know what it's going to catch.
Right.
So normally when you're doing a film, you're like, okay, this is just coverage. This is their close up. I'm off camera now. Like I'll be there off screen for eye line and everything, but I can, turn it down to like 70%. I don't have to be,
Little
but
breather.
exactly. But for this, there was none of that. It was on, you had to be on all the time, 100%, because you never knew if the camera was going to catch you, at least for me. I think it was probably a little different for Jeff and Noah because they were the camera operators. But yeah, for me, not being one of the camera operators, yeah, I had to be 100% just like living in it like it's a play. And if if the camera catches you, great. If it doesn't, that's fine too. You're still doing it. You're still
Yeah.
living in that world.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's what makes them so much fun, though, is like the elegance of weaving this really kind of frantic scene together, and then, noticing. I think, and it's one thing I noticed on a rewatch that the details, like, there's so many little details in the set design and the decoration,
Mhm.
and I know you told me this when we were in Austin, like, you all contributed to some of those set decorations. Is that correct?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, a lot of in a lot of the flashback stuff and the stuff in the house, most of that is actually from Micheline's personal collection because she's a big Halloween collector, and so like costuming and a lot of the decorations are hers. But then when it came to some of like the exteriors and trying to make it feel like Halloween, it was shot in June, and you can't get pumpkins anywhere.
Yeah, in Southern
Unless
California, especially.
no, not gonna happen. So Micheline also had a bunch of funkins that were hers that she brought to the shoot, and then we also have a bunch of ours are like fake funkins. They're not the high end ones like hers are. Ours are made out of just like standard foam. But we have 170 of them.
Wow.
So, so Micheline came over and we went through them, and she picked out the ones that were like not IP specific. So things that were a little more generic, so you wouldn't get into any trouble if they were found out. And so some of those were used just to like supplement the pumpkins that were already there.
Oh, I mean, it's so again, like kudos to everyone that contributed that production design because it's so good and it's so much. It's like it's kind of like I live in a house now, and the old thing I always wanted to do when I was a homeowner is like I want to make a haunted house for kids to have to
Mhm.
go through because like
Yeah.
there was like two houses that did that when I was kids, and they were always like even if they were kind of like chintzy or whatever, like it's still like you appreciate that effort. But my wife made the good point because like we have like a long driveway that goes to our garage in the back of our house. She's like, "What kids do you think you're going to walk up a dark driveway to go get some candy at the back of this house?" I'm like, "You're right. Like, you're right. I
Yeah.
don't like that you're right, but you are right."
Yeah.
So we just decorate the front of the house, but maybe one day we'll get some sort of like maze situation going on the front porch.
I mean, that's the sad part about, the world that we live in these days. Because, back in the 80s when this is set, like you could do that
Yeah.
and people wouldn't think twice about it. But now, I mean, everyone's much more aware or much more cynical. I mean, either way. And yeah, you do have to be more careful about all that sort of stuff. So I think that's why our segment also really resonates with people because it just has this like Halloween nostalgia of a better time.
Yeah, and I think a lot of us that are like particularly like millennial age, like it does kind of we live between those two points of time, which is like we're living in the current cynicism, but we also like have this deep nostalgia appreciation, which is why we're always like feigning back for these memories of like, oh, remember
Yeah.
when we used to do this thing or that. But I think again, you're spot on that people's reaction to this does come from a place of like part nostalgia, but also part like, wow, that we had it so good. What
We
happened to
did.
us?
We didn't even know how good we had it.
Had no idea, none. Like like the worst thing I had to look out for was like our moms or dads thinking that there's gonna be like razor blades and candy, which was such a far-fetched idea.
And that
But
that never even happened, right? It was
no, it
just
didn't.
like, yeah.
I mean, it's that just goes to show like the power of like word of mouth and especially the internet. We've seen the internet amplify that ability to like disseminate things that are clearly wrong.
Yeah.
Um, but thinking about the like VHS kind of anthology a whole, do you have a particular favorite story across all of the other series or entries that you particularly
There's
gravitate
a
towards?
there's a couple that stand out to me. I haven't watched all of them. I was actually really surprised to find out that they were on number 8 with
Yeah,
this.
there's so many,
Like that's a
and five of
lot.
them are Shudders, I think. I think
Yeah,
so. Like,
like they've been doing them consistently for a while now, and so I'm also like, okay, now I need to go catch up. But there a couple of the ones that really stand out to me were the in the first one, the one in the hotel room with the
yeah,
girl that turns into the creature. Loved it. Awesome. And then the second one, the Thailand cult segment, so fucking creepy.
And
So
that's
scary.
like, I mean, Home Hunt's really, really good. That might be my favorite one though, because just the proposed, like the energy of that thing once it starts going
Yeah.
is just like, it's like having, I mean, I haven't had a heart attack, but I've had plenty of panic attacks. It feels like a panic attack.
It does. Yeah, it totally does. And yeah, it's very claustrophobic and that, yeah, did a really good job with that one. I also really liked in the last one and beyond the skydiving.
That was fun.
That was really cool too. So yeah,
I
those are the
think
ones.
one of mine's that and I think some people like this, other people weren't so big a fan, but the Ratma one was so strange and like I just like that idea of this weird little rat god creature living in the sewers. So like
Yeah,
I just love I think what people enjoy about the VHS anthologies is that they are just like they remind us of the Creep Show and like the EC
totally.
comics but in like done in a modern way, not trying to present themselves as nostalgic, but instead as their own thing. And even as a fan, someone who's not the biggest fan of found footage, like I find that it doesn't really matter to me that aesthetic is like how they deliver these stories, because even like the least effective ones are still really, really interesting.
Yeah.
And as we're in the now scary season, it's October 1st when we're recording this. Are there any things that you always make it a point to watch during like the October Halloween season?
We have a whole, yeah, whole list, whole like, set of movies that we go through every year. I think my favorite out of those is Michael Dougherty's Trick or Treat. I love
Hmm.
that film. And it feels like Halloween. Like they just
Does.
captured the vibe so perfectly. So yeah, I love that one. We of course watch Halloween. um,
As you do.
as you
It's
do.
you lose your horror
Um,
card if you don't watch it. So
yeah, that's like so definitely part one. Sometimes part two, part three, and H2O. Those are usually like the
it's the
ones
best
that we pick
timeline.
up. That's exactly. Also Tales of Halloween, another good like horror
Oh yeah.
anthology. So
That is
I
a
like
fun
that
one.
one. And in more newer night books that was on Netflix a couple years ago.
Ooh.
I would
Okay.
like
I'm jotting this down.
it's kind of like a gateway horror kind of thing, with Kristen Ritter as like this witch, and she captures these children, and they have to write scary stories. So it's kind of like a little bit of an anthology too.
Oh,
But it's just the visuals of it are really fun. The tone of it's really fun. So like for newer films, that's kind of one that we maybe not every single year, but we do watch it. Yeah, consistently, at least maybe every other year.
yeah, though that's a great lineup. And I think Trick or Treat is such we don't often get movies that are going to be like there will be future classics. That definitely is one. And I remember when that movie was made, I was still living in LA and it was like stuck in distribution hell because like they finished the movie, no one wanted to touch it for whatever reason. And they did like after 2 years after it was done, they did like one screening of it in LA. And I remember getting my friend and like at the time I was broke as shit. Uh and I was like, we're going to see this movie. Like, we got to get there. And I knew like LA screenings in particular, like you have to get there hours in advance or else
Yep.
you're not guaranteed at all. And so
Yep.
luckily enough, we were one of like the last 15 people they let into the theater. And it didn't get released again, I think, for another like a year or 2 years after that. And so I always felt so special. Like I got to see this thing that maybe no one will ever get to see.
Yeah.
But it's still like I think that not even just that memory, but just it still transcends that memory because it's so good and it's
Yeah.
so exciting.
It really is. Yeah, it really is. And it's so sad we're never gonna get a sequel.
I know, I know. Oh, wait, I think there's like a comic book offshoot, but yeah, we need another movie. And sometimes I feel like if we wait too long, like it just kind of dulls the edge a little bit of it. So I don't know. I have full
Yeah.
faith in Doherty, but I don't have faith as much in the distribution and like the IP side of things. So
Exactly.
the lawyers are don't let the lawyers let us down.
No, I know. That's the sad part.
But as I said before, you've had such a great year. You've had so many films come out. You have Garden of Eden, you have Popeye the Slayer Man, you have this
Yeah.
VHS segment. Are you taking rest? Like, are you getting enough rest? And two, anything else you have coming up in the near term or even in the next year that you're excited about and you can talk about?
Sure, yeah. I'll sleep when I'm dead. Bring it on, bring it on. Anyone wants to hire me, I'll find a way. I'll make it happen. Always. I just love working. I love being busy. So, and it's the most fun thing to do. So, like, of course, keep going with
And you're
it.
very good at it. So like,
Oh,
you
thanks.
are like every time I see you and whatever role you're in, You always deliver 100+%, and you're always entirely believable in whatever role you're assuming in. I still love your turn in Garden of Eden, where it's like it is the emotional heart of that movie, and the whole entire thesis resides on your character. So yeah, keep working, please, but also take care of yourself.
I'm trying. I'm trying. Believe me, there's enough rest between projects. It's fine.
Okay.
It takes care of itself. Um, so I do have a couple things that are in like post-production right now. Two of them are actually romantic comedies.
Oh,
So
fun.
outside of horror completely. So I don't know when those are going to get finished. Hopefully sometime soon, because it's fun to do things that are outside the genre too. But I also have If It Bleeds, which is another anthology. So that's going to be playing festivals next year. And I just did this cool short film called Total Party Kill, which you are familiar
Yes.
with. It is so Dungeons and Dragons role play game with an all-female group, and the way that our characters die in the game is how we die in real life. So that was also super fun. And that's going to be coming out in festivals hopefully next year as well. So but aside from that, I actually have some ideas for things that I want to do. That
Like
I want to
directing?
not directing. I don't think I'm ready for that. And I don't know enough. I'll leave that to like people that, are actually like directors. But I've produced a little bit here and there. So I feel like I have a couple ideas, and I'm working with some people to like get them written, because I also feel like I'm not the best, strongest writer. So again, delegate to people that are good at what they do.
Right.
So I'm gonna try to like produce that and kind of get it off the ground and act in it as well, because it's something that I want to be involved in. So that's kind of the goal for next year, is to get that moving a little bit.
Well, I also don't want to discount the Rendezvous short you did, which has, even though you're not, cars isn't your first passion per se, you really know how to handle the stick shift on that thing and like drive it through the streets of LA. So, folks, you can watch that for free. I'll make sure to put a link into our
Yay.
show notes here so folks can check that out. But my last question's for you, Sarah. It's a two-parter. So the one is, do you have a favorite Halloween candy? And the second is, do you have a favorite Halloween costume that you've ever dressed up as?
Oh, I think favorite Halloween candy. So it's either like Reese's Pieces or like the Reese's Cups or Twix. Those are always the ones that I
Outstanding choices.
go to. And for costumes, so back when I like had more time in life, I'm a huge fantasy fan, and I love like Lord of the Rings and Game of Thrones and all that stuff. So I actually made our Daenerys Targaryen costume myself. Of like when she's out, like when she's with the Dothraki, and like burlap and like all that sort of stuff. So I'm a partial to that, because I love that world and I love the fantasy world, but also because it's when I actually took the time to like sew and make myself, as
Wow.
opposed to like buying things and piecing them together. So
Oh, wow. Well, I'll have to introduce my wife at some point because she's a huge fantasy fan as well.
perfect.
And but yeah, I'm with you on the Reese's front. Like, I think the Reese's shapes for Halloween, even though they don't really look like the shapes they're supposed to anymore, they're just kind of like amorphous blobs of chocolate and peanut butter inside of them. Like, I guess that's a ghost, kind of looks like a
Yeah.
splat. But still, I feel like it has the perfect ratio of chocolate and peanut butter in these Halloween ones. So my waistline will not be happy for me, but my stomach will be full.
Yeah, we won't worry about that until January at this point.
Yeah, no, we're going to the high rate. We have to pack on the weight for the winter months, so that way we
That's
can
right. Yeah, for our hibernate.
assuming hopefully get a winner. It's still kind of warm here, so who knows. But Sarah, as always, it's such a pleasure talking to you, and I always am so happy to see anything you're in, and always cheering you on. But I want to remind folks that VHS Halloween comes out on Friday, October 3rd. It's going to be on Shudder. You're I cannot stress this enough. This is how much fun this one is. Watch it with a crowd, watch it with people. And it's one of those ones that I think this is going to become an annual watch for people because it is just that good. Even the darkest ones in there are really, really interesting. I still need to figure out how I feel about Kid Print. It's so out there.
It sticks with you. It really, that one really gets under your skin. Yeah, that's
Yeah, I mean, and no, there's no like this doesn't happen very often. It's kind of like the 7-10 split of horror, but like every single segment works. There's no weak links in this thing, and all
yeah.
of them are so distinct and different. The Diet Phantasma one is such a trip, it's so weird and gross but funny. So I hope you see more in more of these. But for now, I hope you're relishing just all the success of this one, and you were going to be a staple for everyone's Halloween going forward. I'm pretty sure of it.
I hope so. I hope so. I hope people will really love it and enjoy it and, see all of the incredible work and blood, sweat, and tears that everyone put into this thing. So I think it's really fun. So hopefully people feel the same.
Especially the end of especially of the home haunt. It really is. I think someone put in their letterbox like this is the VHS fuck those kids edition.
Exactly. It's very
And
true.
it is very fitting. But
Yeah.
Sarah, it's been a pleasure. Happy Halloween to you, and
Happy
look forward to
Halloween.
talking again.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you so much.
Of course.